I'm Zviki Ishay, the CEO and one of the co-founders of Lightico. Established the company around 10 years ago. Spent around 20 years in this industry, working with some of the largest companies in the world, mainly focusing on solving big problems in the realm of regulatory businesses with the notion of customer experience. And today I'm going to talk with you about the AI models that are coming, and already some of them are already here and that are powering the next generation, next era of auto finance. Looking at the agenda for today, we'll start with the challenge. What is this challenge of the fragmented systems that we have in general in the realm of customer-facing digital workflows? Then we talk a little bit about AI technology. What are the new technologies that came out from the oven that can help us get leverage in market problems right now, especially in the auto finance space? We'll talk about what a fully connected end-to-end orchestration is and how that can impact business. What's the real-world impact that some lenders have already seen with these technologies, the most innovative lenders that actually some of them, we are working with them directly, and what an autonomous future looks like. So I thought about starting this presentation with the sentence I used to say to the Lightico investors. Think about the differences, like the world of lending, oldest dichotomy of speed versus compliance. You constantly ask yourself, why did it come to a place where from one end, you're saying, I need to stay fully compliant, and from the other end, it's always affecting the speed. It's like one is coming on the top of the other, and it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. And people are used to that. If we want to be 100% compliance, it means that we need by design to impact the speed of our ability to do business. And we always want to enjoy both worlds. So it starts with disconnected systems, which means that if a consumer needs to do multiple actions in front of a lender in order to get, I don't know, a loan in place or a servicing process completed, it might be a little complicated and moving between different tools. It's that constant document chase where we're asking the customer to bring us the relevant documents. It goes to the dealership sends not the right batch of documents. We need to chase the customers and the dealers in order to get them, which elongates the time it takes to fund a loan. And all of that is because of the compliance, the need to live up to the compliance. We're always trying to mitigate between how compliant are we versus how much do we interrupt the function of the normal business. And there's always those competing pressures between the market, which is the end consumers, that they want that fintech experience of the flawless user experience right on their mobile devices, which is typically provided by the likes of the fintech businesses. Because they have the privilege, most of the fintech businesses are selling one or two products, and we have large lenders that are selling so many products, they can't live up to the same level of digitization across the entire product line. And on the other end, we have the regulators that keep imposing more and more compliance requirements for us to live up to as we try to do business. And that was always kind of the conflict. And I think that the realm of AI right now and end-to-end orchestration brings us the ability from one end to bring a fully digital, amazing customer experience, and on the other end, make sure that using AI technologies, we are fully compliant without adding hassle to the funding process and also to servicing processes as well. So it's kind of like thinking about the journey that we've taken up until these days. And I can say that I didn't have the privilege of being there as a consumer in 1990 because I was 7. But somewhere around 2010, I became part of this industry. And it's great to see the way that the world has evolved in those 35 years up until now. We started in the 1990s. You want to take an insurance policy? You used to go to your local State Farm or Allstate agency, get into the shop and get the insurance policy. You wanted a loan, you go to the bank, and that's pretty much it. 2005, we started using faxes more and more. People had faxes at home. So if you need to do business with someone and you need to transfer a document between different places, that was very innovative. You could move from local little businesses that need the face-to-face experience into a more remote business that gives you the ability to scale the business much easier without taking real estate location in many places. So we used to have a big call center, and the call center had faxes, and in order to complete the compliance items, we used to just send faxes, send emails, and that's it. That at 2010, we started a digital transformation era. Now, digital transformation era was mainly focused on how we create our business into we turn our business into a digital first business, but it was more focused on the back end, right? More sophisticated CRMs, mainframes, data organizations, and loan origination systems in the back end, which make the business work much more fluent. But the problem is that the end consumer didn't see it. And not only in 2015, we started having this digital customer facing processes where you can actually move from the faxes and emails and get those little digital snippets into the customer mobile device in order for them to sign the document online, maybe to upload the document from a portal and stuff like that. But the challenge became, and this is where Lightico came in. I remember going to the AFSA conferences and showing the Lightico offering. That was like the biggest innovation out there. We used to bring like one-stop shop for digital solutions. So it means that if you need e-sign in the Lightico experience, you can sign documents, you can upload information, but everything was controlled by an agent. And it was great. It solved a lot of problems. It had a unified experience and it expedited everything. But then when came 2020, we understood that we need to get into the realm of front-end orchestration. Front-end orchestration means that you have a single platform that you can build end-to-end mobile-first digital experiences with all the explanations and a good user experience for a customer to go through the entire process by themselves. It can happen in real time while a person is with them on the line. And it can also happen self-service. We can automatically transmit it from a CRM, send a text message from the IVR with an experience to do a due date change, for example. We could do a loan origination directly from the DMS into the customer device in the dealership itself. And it opened up a lot of opportunities. So companies, and I see a lot of our existing customers also on the line, is that companies have started deploying those in order to really be able to digitize their entire customer-facing processes with a very easy tool that creates that front-end experience that is unified and not a lot of different point solutions that the customer are interacting with. But now comes what we call the AI revolution, and it's already here. I'm sure that everyone sees AI everywhere, and it's always a question, is this guy that is talking with us also going to say the buzzword AI about anything that is moving? So the ones that do know Lightico, the one that will know Lightico, we don't just take a buzzword and put it in the market. We actually wait a lot of time in order for us to be sure that the type of technology that we are going to provide to the market is a technology that is working exactly the right point and is able to tackle exactly the right problem. If it's not relevant, then we won't put it in front of anyone. And the AI revolution is here, and you see it everywhere, right? We see it in ChatGPT, and we see it in image generation. Some things are even scary, right? We see fake news across the board. You don't know what to believe in. I am real, by the way. This is not AI yet. And the AI revolution is here. And what I want to talk with you today is how we take this entire noisy environment and say, okay, what is relevant right now we designed it for financial services in general because we don't have customers only in auto finance, but this is a problem that is cross vertical, cross industry, and we're talking about compliance in heavily regulated businesses. And if we have some time at the end of this webinar, we can talk about the vision for 2030. I already started working on it with the team. It's still, some of it is top secret. So let's see how we go towards the end of this. Now, I wanted to start with a personal story. At my AFSA conferences, we used to come, if you've been at AFSA, you probably met the Lightico team again and again and again. In the last 10 years, we've pretty much been in any AFSA conference across the board. Some of them big booths, some of them little kiosks as we grew as a company. And I remember me demoing like at the third year of Lightico and demoing our point solution experience. And everyone, at every demo, people started asking me the same question. Can you guys, after you collect all of these signatures and documents and you create what they called, and I didn't know about it then, the deal jacket, can you understand what the documents are, extract the data and validate it for us? And after the sixth question, I said, okay, this is interesting. I need to deep dive into this because this is the solution that the market really wants. And I don't understand why nobody provides it, because it's pretty clear out there that people want to automatically verify, classify, verify, data extract, and validate the documents that are being collected by the customers. Then later on, I understood that people are doing that manually, like with eyeballing. And I went and searched and did a lot of research. I actually hired a few people that are AI expert to come in and try to understand how we make a machine be smart enough in order to do those things consistently with high accuracy and high speed. And eventually we came up that we need a model. Now everyone understands that we need a model, but what is the model? So we see here this is how we describe a model in our collateral, which is a little box. It's for it not to be a black box, we painted it in a different color. And the goal for this box is simple. Visualize or imagine something like this. I take any document that you expect. Let's say for inside the deal jacket, I need a retail installment contract. I need a proof of income, let's say a pay stub, and I need an ID, and I need an odometer statement. Let's take a model that does odometer statements. It gets, at the left side, it gets an odometer statement. At the right side, it spits out the fact that it is an odometer statement, a valid one, all the metadata that exist on that, the odometer reading and the VIN number and all the different information points that exist on the odometer statement. And it validates all of them based on what it expected to get, for example, from the metadata in the deal jacket. That model, when deployed in production at high scale, can automatically classify, validate, and extract the data from any type of document that comes in. And then I said, okay, this seems great. And then I deep dive again, and we had a few very significant customers in the market. I went on site and told them, what are you using today? It's like, why isn't it in production? Told me we're using OCR-based technologies, and it's kind of working. Now, we want to be able to do that classification, data extraction, and validation consistently. And we want to do it with high accuracy, because if we fund deals, especially if we want to do straight through processing and do no lights financing, we have to make sure that the model works good. But when you go to OCR, and I deep dive, first of all, I think, with any OCR vendor in the market, the best ones and the most sophisticated ones, the ones with the biggest marketing. I used to look at the ones that got the biggest investments from a capital perspective, because I knew these are the companies that are probably going to last for long. And it surprised me the way that these kind of technology is working. So you take a large document set. Let's say you take a big folder with a lot of pay stubs. Now, for everyone's sake, there are over 500 different variations of pay stub, and I'm being modest here. And you try to build an OCR-based or legacy AI-based OCR model, which is this box at the end over here. And say, okay, how am I creating this? I need to take the data. I won't bore you in all of that, but you take the data, you select the relevant documents, one of each type, then you do data reprocessing, you do the annotations, you mark at every document exactly where is the place that you expect the information to be in, model deployment, validation, deployment, and then you have it live. Now, the problem is that this OCR model knows exactly where to look for the information. Someone in R&D of one of the pay stub generation companies changed something and it shifted one line down, it's broken. You can't fix it. It just won't work. It won't deliver relevant results. And that happens frequently, many, many times over and over again, especially for things that are so agile, like pay stubs and utility bills and also for information that not necessarily people will be getting consistently. So another thing here is I said, okay, so you fix it. The heavy lifting creates a very high cost. And the fact that every change and every rebuild of the model takes sometimes a month or 2 months to fix. And then your business is kind of shut down for 20% of the types of pay stub every time. So you can't get to 100% and you can't really trust the data. So there's a lot of manual stuff involved. In general, that wasn't a good, clear choice. So me being me, personally me, by the way, in my background, product management, engineering, I'm an engineer. I built software most of my life. I started Lightico by actually writing the line of code, and then we have an amazing engineering team that does it much, much better than me. But I said, if we don't have the best solution to bring to our customers, we won't bring it to the market. Until lately, when I met ChatGPT, I don't know if everyone knows ChatGPT. Most of the people probably does. It's done by OpenAI. ChatGPT is the visual interface to access the large language model. What I'm signed up for is 4.0 model. It's a visual way to ask the model to process information for you. So the first version, Model 3, I got it at the day that it got out. The first thing that I did, took a pay stub from online, John Doe pay stub that I found on Google, put it inside ChatGPT. I asked it, what is it? He told me this is a pay stub. Told it, okay, whose pay stub is it? He told me this is John Doe's pay stub. He lives over here. He makes $14,000 a month. He has no bonuses. He was wrong in one thing out of 7. But I said, okay, now we have a technology that understands context, that from a model that was built on everything, it can get you to 90% results. I actually hired a team inside Lightico that are experts in AI modeling that started researching how we can get LLM models into the financial service industry in general, because we work with banks, with consumer lending, with consumer credit, etc., and bring that solution to the market as fast as possible. And I found out the information and the actual core capabilities of these new type of AI models, which we call large language models. If in common OCR-based legacy, we need to take the large document set and start building models through the entire chain that takes a month. In LLM, it's totally different. Lightico already delivered this, build this with some of the best platforms in the market right now, in the world. You're taking the large document set, which is all the documents, and you teach a very big, what we call foundation model that knows how to answer almost every question at 90% accuracy, which is not good enough. We want to get towards the 100 because we want to do straight pool processing and we want to make sure that we have it repetitive and consistent. And then Lightico developed a method to take this foundation model and carve it out into small language models. A small language, so if we go to ChatGPT and we ask it about sports, or we ask it about recipes, or we ask it about pay stubs, it will know how to answer anything. This small language model can answer questions only on pay stubs, but it does so better than any model out there. Why? Because it has been tuned, validated, and deployed for pay stubs only with the relevant technology. So this brings us a new type of technology that now we can take, if you're doing the engineering smart enough, putting it in production to live up to the scale of some of the biggest lenders on the planet, it lives up to that, up to 10 seconds time frame. You have a solution that is bulletproof, that knows to understand context, and doesn't need to be trained on every single document. Seemed like a big promise. The technology is there and the technology is working, by the way, deployed at customer sites, and it's working like a charm. So what is the value over any type of other technology? And some companies in the market that we tested are using like more legacy type of technology. So they have a problem because their regular AI don't really understand it, right? It has been trained on a set to know exactly what it was trained of. It doesn't know how to understand. I can explain it like my child, okay? My little kid, or that's his name. If I show Or a pay stub, he will ask me, Daddy, what is it? I tell him, this is a pay stub. Say, okay, what does that mean? It means that this is something that shows what a person is getting as a salary. He said, okay, great. I'll teach him where he sees the salary, where he sees the bonus, where he sees the name. Tell me, great, Daddy, I got you. I show him another pay stub, totally different pay stub. He will tell me, Daddy, what is this? Oh, this is also a pay stub. Great. Oh, this is where I see the name. This is where I see the last name. But where do I see the salary here? I don't understand. So I teach him where I see. In the third one, he knows 90%. When I bring him 100, he will be the best pay stub human model possible. That's how LLMs are working. You teach it, and it learns to understand what a document is. This is why it gets high accuracy. This is why he gets quick iterations, which means he didn't identify something, you just show it to him, and the LLM model will say, okay, great, now I know. And that's it. From that moment, he has a new piece of the model brain that knows how to identify a different structure, but we don't need to tell it like OCR specifically where in the document he needs to look at it. It's more generic. And the most important thing, it's very flexible for new document types. I had my existing customers meeting them, telling them about this technology. They told me, okay, that one of our biggest problems is that there are a few vendors out there, but for example, whenever we want the retail installment contract, they can't build a model for it. Why? I understand why. Because building an OCR model dedicated for a specific document for a specific business is complicated. But with LLM, in order to do that fine-tuned deploy, we can do it within 2 business days and you have a new model. So for example, I told them that's the easiest way. Just tell us which documents you're not using right now in production, and just test us with it. And that was the way to get in pretty much to any customer that is using our technology. So just visualizing it, so understand what the technology is, but the process is pretty simple. It starts by capturing. You first need a system, a technological system that knows to capture the documents. In this case, we have documents coming in via email. We have documents coming in directly from, maybe you're using Route 1 and getting it directly from the dealership. Maybe you're captive and you have your own DMS at the dealership. There is a way to get it, and you need to drive it into the AI-based system. Then the LLM model does the first thing, which is called classification. Why is that important? Because eventually we want to understand what's on the document. So in order to understand what's on the document, we need to tell the system what it needs to look for each and every one of the documents. So for that, we need to understand what's the document that we got. We don't want the customer to tell us this is a pay stub. We want to be able to get like a big scan from a dealership with 60 pages to be able to capture it and then take one page by one and classify each one of them in order to do it automatically to save the human friction in the process. So assuming we understood that there are 2 documents, one of them is I think it's both. It is a utility bill, and the second one is a pay stub. Great. So we understand that in a pay stub, we need to look for name, income, and address. And in the utility bill, we probably need only the name and the address, for example. So after you do the actual classifications, you have the ability to run different data extractions. After those data extractions occur, an AI-based IDP flow will be taking this and enriching it. For example, take more data from my internal database in order to enrich the data before you run the validation rules. Because if you found out the person who lives in New York, go to my internal system and see what do we require from a regulation perspective in New York City. After we got all the data in place, then we run the validation. Then you need to run the validation rule. For each type of document, we run different validation rules, assuming that we have 10 different types of documents, and we want a human to do it. A human, I don't know, it's one of the hardest jobs, I think, on the planet, is to remember, and this is why I see expert funders and junior funders. These ones know how to fund a deal in 20 minutes. These ones, it takes them 45 minutes because it's hard. It's very hard, and by the way, a very frustrating job. Instead of doing what they do best, which is funding the deals, they need to eyeball documents the entire day. So after we do the validation, then these things are ingested into the CRM, and that's it. We have what we call an IDP process completed, which means we got a deal jacket that had 60 pages. We cracked it into pieces. We extracted the data. We enriched it. We validated it. And then we have a response. The response can be everything is validated. The response will be the pay stub date is not from the last 90 days. Please ask the dealership for a new pay stub. Write in the notes in Route 1 to ask for them to get us a new pay stub. But instead of doing it after 2 days, after waiting for the queue, you do it immediately, sometimes even automatic. And this entire thing with LLM, typically with a person, it will take, I don't know, 20 minutes. It can take 5 to 7 seconds. In automatic mode LLM with the good resources and proper engineering. Now, one of the challenges here, and I was astonished. I sat in a meeting with a funding team, and they told us, we don't necessarily do everything that we need to check. We have like, I don't know, 300 compliance checks to do theoretically. But if we do 300 compliance checks on the deal jacket, it will take us 3 hours. The entire loan will be unprofitable. So we need to take the risk and go to 60, 50%. Some of them only check that the name is right and you have the signature. It doesn't make sense. You need to check so many things on it. But I understand that sometimes you don't have any other choice. You need to move the deals forward. So you take risk on compliance, which is that dichotomy, right, of speed versus compliance. How do we move past it? So this kind of system can run 1,000 checks in 10 seconds and can run every humanly possible check you would want from a deal jacket in order to make sure that you have the right deal jacket and you can fund the deal with 100% certainty at record speed, which is suddenly high speed, high compliance. The dichotomy is starting to die in front of our eyes. So now we need to put it into action, right? So this seems like a very complicated thing, and it depends on your technology stack. So how do we put it into action? We call it the power of orchestration, turning chaos into a flow. So first of all, it can be simple as I have an LOS system I built by myself. I take the deal jacket, I send it to Lightico or to any other AI-IDP system that provides the same level of capabilities as Lightico, and get the response back, and then that's it, fund the deal. But it's a little hard to configure, very hard to develop. It's a very complicated process because you need a lot of development skills in order to do that. So some companies, and again, I'm saying some of our customers, already have the front-end experience, which is the document collection, T's and C's, e-sign, e-forms, ID verification, everything you would want in order to create a deal jacket. And the result of that front-end experience go into the AI intelligence layer. Now, the AI intelligence there does what it does best. It understands the document, classifies it, and extracts the data and validates it. From there, it pushes it to the full orchestration integration, which is typically the loan origination system or the CRM. Everything is good, and we can fund the deal. The result of all of this, of course, the business outcome. We have real-time funding. By the way, I'm seeing right now deployments directly from a website, customer-facing landing portal. Customer is uploading the pay stubs. It's hitting an AI intelligence layer, automatically getting feedback on the pay stub. Customer says, "Oh, this pay stub is from 3 months ago. I need something from the last 2 months." Immediately gets the new pay stub. Make sure that at the front we get everything right. By the way, can happen also with the dealership. We won't let the dealership submit unless they verify all the documents at the dealership level, and then we push it to funding immediately, and we don't even need to go through the hassle of back and forth because we catch it at the front. We get fewer drop-offs because it doesn't take long. You get the response so fast, you don't have a choice to run, and you get to 100% compliance, which is the main thing over here. Now, I want to touch a bit, and I think we talked in general on, and by the way, we didn't say it up until now, but you can post questions in the chat if you have any specific question. Gabby from my team is here and she can post it directly to me on this interface that I have right now. And what we have is the Lightico front-end orchestration platform, what we call the AI-driven journey orchestration. So think about the entire Lightico offering. Some of you already use it, some of you may heard about it, but let's give it a little iteration. What have we built? We said we want a single no-code system that lets you build the customer experience with a visual designer, that you can build an experience pretty much for any kind of flow. And when I say any kind of flow, I mean like any kind of flow. In auto finance specifically, it's like from credit application to loan app to auto loan to ACH authorization, address change request in servicing, pretty much any kind of process you can turn into a digital experience, kind of like a little website builder to build a small portal for that process for the customer. And you have all the different capabilities with logic and backend integration. Now, on top of that, we've added our native AI document processing. By the way, you don't have to have, when you're looking at Lightico, you don't have to have this entire journey orchestration in order to use the document processing AI, but it will definitely ease up the development and implementation timescale. And you can launch it everywhere. You can put it in your mobile app if you have one. You can attach it to emails. You can drive it directly from the call center. You can put it at a reseller channel. You can put it in the dealership directly with the customer, pretty much anywhere. It processes the entire journey, passes the ID, the AI verification process, and then push it to the relevant system, to the CRM, to the LOS, to the e-vaulting, to everything. And it pretty much is your portal with your customers, everything they interact with those compliant processes, making sure they're neat, fast, and support 100% compliance. And again, it can happen to any one of your processes. We have some customers that are already exceeding 70, 80 different processes on the Lightico platform, pretty much empowering everything. So within our specific AI-IDP solution, we have 3 modules. The first one is document classification. No one will need ever again to go through the 67 pages in the deal jacket and mark which page is what. That's like easily sorted out. It sorts, organize, and diverse the formats in order to make sure we have dedicated documents. After you have dedicated documents, it has the ability to do context-based data extraction, which is important, and it does it at scale, in high speed, and in very high accuracy. And now it's the customer's choice or anyone's choice. Sometimes the LOS system has a rich data validation rule engine. So we can push over the metadata to the LOS, and the LOS runs the rule engine. Everything works great. But we've seen many lenders that have either homegrown or LOS systems without a robust data validation engine. So we have a data validation engine as part of the solution in case that your LOS doesn't have to. Now, this supports full automation or Copilot with seamless integration. What is Copilot? Let's think about you convincing the team that you need to take the Lightico AI document processing tomorrow. The challenge is to trust the system. I wouldn't. That tells you that it does everything right. Put it into your production. Let's see if it's working. But you don't know if it's working or not before you evaluated it. This is why we created the 2-step process. The first part, we do the automation, but we crunch it in a very nice way and put it in front of a funder. The funder needs to go through the result, which is 3 minutes instead of 20 minutes, and is verifying if the results that we provided are good. Until we get the system to learn the confidence, when the system learns the confidence, only then you start moving different levels of, I can say, satisfaction in the results directly to straight-through processing without taking it to a funder. Now, what's important here, it is purpose-built AI. It has been built for financial services organization with a very strong emphasis on lending in order to make sure that it's built for that ecosystem by itself. It has intelligent document processing inside. It has agentic intelligence, which means the system can function by itself and being able to probe different systems and make actions. And it has continuous learning, which means that if a funder said that something was wrong, the system will automatically learn and fix the model for everyone. So if there is a public process that anyone is using for, like say our pay stub model, then everyone can utilize that model. So in a real life scenario, this is, by the way, a few of our captive lenders are using exactly that. So they're using either Lightico or the DMS to do the deal jacket. Then the deal jacket is being sent to the LOS. Then the LOS sends it to Lightico. Lightico does the AI-IDP processes, the deal jacket, cleans everything, understands the document pages and classifies them, extract the deal information, validates it across the package, across the different pages, set the data rules, regulations, and validates everything is correct, confirm that the signatures are in place everywhere, and then push it to the LOS. If everything is good, you can fund it immediately in mere seconds. If something's wrong, you know that something is wrong very, very fast, and you can act on it as you know about it. Now, so you can take any LLM in the market and utilize. So I want just to describe a little bit about the Lightico mode. you've been using the platform, it's always fast. It has a very high speed. It has a very high reliability. That's one. But on top of that, we've built the same level of engineering into our IDP offering. The first thing that we've done is made sure that it supports the same Lightico speed. And you can see on the painting behind me, complete journeys at the speed of Lightico. So we carry the exact same weight to this product. If you have a retail installment contract that you want to build a model for and see how it works in production, we need only 50 pieces of documents, and within 2 days you have a working classification data extraction model that you can put in production with our AI system and just test it. Simple. If you want to use a common model, and we have the common model, like the regular ones, like odometer statements and pay stubs and utility bills and many other ones that everyone are using, we have them. And if you want your own common model means that there can be many different variations, like a pay stub. So we need 150 documents mixed, and we can build the model again in 2 business days. It's not longer to build it. And the important thing is, and that's the engineering piece, we managed to get to less than 10 seconds processing time for approximately 70 pages. That's record breaking. By the way, we have patent pending technologies on some of the innovations that we've done here, and some of them we just use the best vendors in the market from a platform perspective. Now, after we build the models, we get the Copilot screen. I think this is an important one to see. After we get the documents, we process them and we make sure that everything is understood. We crunch it. Then we have a Copilot screen that we put in front of the funder. The funder can see exactly what we've analyzed. So we see that the company name is EasyCab, and we see that that Courtney Carr is the person that took this that owns this document. We have the vehicle VIN number and we have the purchase price. That's right. And we also identify that we have errors. For example, the pay stub is not from the last 60 days, or the signature is missing, and many other pieces. And what's important here, this is not a black box. Everything is configurable directly within our no-code visual builder, which means that you can craft the process as you wish and make sure it's tailored right for your approach. Now, before we finish, I think that just a moment of thanks for also some of our customers that are here on this webinar. We've been partnering with some of the best businesses on the planet, the most sophisticated, the ones with the most complicated regulations, to make sure that this is flawless, to make sure that we're building it bank grade, financial services grade, with the strictest compliance and strictest security and strictest regulations. And we made sure that we build it for the next generation of consumer finance in general. And what we see here is these are our partners, our customers, some of them. Now, these seen some very significant values. We've seen 60% reduction in funding time end-to-end. We've seen 100% compliance, period, and not compliance of the 20 tasks, but compliance of the hundreds of tasks that are being done on that deal jacket. We've seen 6-second verification that enabled real-time straight-through processing. And we've seen up to 35% cost reduction in the funding experience. Now, if you would like to see more, first of all, you can reach out. We can schedule a tailored demo. Our team is very experienced in showcasing, understanding, deep diving, even on-site workshops in order to understand exactly what the system can bring and how it can impact your business success specifically. And in the next time that we will meet, that's in the next webinar, I will talk about the next step in AI innovation, which is something we started to work on. It's something that will be available only with quantum computing is going to kick in. We already have it in our radar. It needs to improve its error correction. And there are things that we are going to do that will dazzle the world of consumer finance, I think, as we know it. So in the next webinar that we'll have, I'll talk about the future and what it holds and what kind of cool innovations we're working on and bringing you. The most important, we're here to partner, and we're here to make sure that you're choosing a future-proof solution that will grow with you and get you the best technologies out there. So if you want to reach out, feel free. This is the QR code Gabby wrote in the chat. Also, the information that you can reach out. We would love to chat, me personally, or with the team for a tailored demo. That would be fantastic. Gabby or Grace, have there been any questions in the chat?
No questions as of the moment, Zviki.
Beautiful. So if any questions post this event or any questions that someone would love to ask, I'm more than available, and the team in Lightico is available to answer, or if you just want to chat. So thank you very much for the time. Thank you, Grace,